Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back again here in the studio, and I welcome all our new listeners, our old listeners. Please bear with me while I repeat myself about kind of who we are and what we do, because we're gaining size. We're stretching out all over the world. I used to say all over Florida, but we're now streaming everywhere. We're also Zooming now. Excited to say that this show is our second or third attempt to get the Zoom right, and I believe we got it right today. So you Zoomers, if you would like to do a video call, you can reach us on our new Zoom, which now works. And that Zoom number, if you want to call, you have to have a Zoom account. But if you have a Zoom account, you can call 926-589-0586. Now that's the meeting ID number, and I'll give that to you again. Meeting ID number, if you want to Zoom us, is 926-589-0586. Looks just like a phone number, but it's the meeting ID number. Zoomers, welcome, one and all. Now, for you new listeners also, here's what we do. We're going to tell you, if you're contemplating buying a newer used car or leasing a newer used car, how to accomplish this feat without being taken advantage of by your car dealers. We also are going to recommend how you can have your cars repaired, maintained, serviced without being taken advantage of by your car dealers. Now, just in case you're from another planet and you haven't heard, car dealers are dishonest, most of them, and they've been selling cars and leasing cars, repairing them the dishonest way for about 100 years. Actually, it might have been a little bit more honest 100 years ago. I wasn't around then. I was almost, but not quite. So, but if you've been around for the past 20 or 30 years, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's like having a root canal. The old joke, would you rather have a root canal or a colonoscopy or go in and buy a car? So that tells you how bad it is. Gallup annual poll on honesty and ethics, going on for about 50 years now, has always ranked car dealers at the bottom or near the bottom. Every month it's a fight to see who's the last on honesty and ethics, but they're always second or third from last, or last, dead last. So this show is something that needs to be done. And you can call the show, and you can not only get advice on buying and leasing, but I got a guy here sitting to my right, Rick Kearney. He's a certified diagnostic master technician, and I've always had a lot of respect for Rick, but as the years have gone by, and a lot of years have gone by with me and Rick, a quarter century worth of years, every year the repair and maintenance of cars gets more complex. Now let me clarify, the maintenance has actually gotten easier. Less is required, but if something breaks on a car today, you almost have to have a PhD to figure out how to do it. I mean, you've got to be a highly trained robotic. You have to understand computers. It is really difficult. And if you go into a shade tree mechanic or to a dishonest mechanic, you're going to get taken advantage of probably, or maybe even worse, is they just won't fix it, can't fix it, or fix it wrong. And they're going to charge you a ton of money. So if you don't want that to happen, call our old-fashioned number, 877-960-9960. And you will be glad to take your call, 877-960-9960. We prioritize our calls, and we double prioritize our Zooms. So I hope we're not overloading you with information and complexity. We used to be a simple show 20 years ago when we were only on for half an hour. Nancy and I got together and said, let's do a radio show 20 some odd years ago. And it was a half an hour. I think it was on Saturdays. No, it was on Thursdays. Anyway, it evolved. And here we are on Saturdays for 2 hours live with a huge audience, 20, 30, 40,000 listeners, and I don't know how many video followers and Facebook. We're on Facebook.com/Earl on Cars. I hope I haven't put everybody to sleep, but you regular listeners, thank you for bearing with me. We're on YouTube.com/Earl on Cars. Rick Kearney, by the way, not only will he tell you how to repair a car without getting ripped off, he'll give you a few tips, he'll save you a lot of money, but he monitors the YouTube.com channel, and my son Stu Stewart monitors our text channel, and our text channel, I need to do a new show just on telling you how to contact us. The text channel is 772-497-6530. That's 772-497-6530. I know I'm running my mouth off, and I apologize, but if you call or Zoom, I'll stop talking. I've only got one more thing I want to mention, because it's something so unique and fantastic and unbelievable that if you haven't watched the show before, Mystery Shopping Report. Mystery Shopping Report. Toward the end of the show, last half hour, we report about a car dealership that we visited with an undercover agent. Her name happens to be Agent Lightning. Obviously, that's her cover name. And she pretends to be a car buyer or a leaser, and or sometimes a car repairer. She goes into the car dealership and she reports exactly how she was treated, by whom, naming names, salespeople, sales managers. We name the dealership. If they steal, we tell. If they break the law, if they're unethical, if they're good, if they're happy, they're nice, we tell it, good, bad, and the ugly. We tell you exactly the way it is. And some people out there, especially you lawyers, will say, I know you don't do that. You can't do that. They'd be suing you. Well, they haven't sued me in 20 years. And you regular listeners know that I have called a lot of car dealers that you know dishonest. I've called them criminals, and I've told you what the criminal act was, and they haven't sued me in 20 years. Now, that is the perfect defense. Truth is the perfect defense against libel and slander. I promise I'm going to start yakking. I'm just going to stop yakking. I'm going to give the numbers out one more time, and then I'm going to turn the microphone over to Nancy Stewart here, my co-host. The numbers again, the calling number, please write it down if you can't call right now, 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. You can text us. My son will monitor this, Stu. And the text number is 772-497-6530. If you are a Zoom equipped, if you have a Zoom account, if you want to be on video, live video with Earl on Cars, then you can use this meeting ID number. You Zoomers will know what I mean. Meeting ID number 926-589-0589. That's 926-589-0586. And that message will pop up. Jonathan will let me know, and Rick know, and Nancy know that we have a Zoom caller, and we will quickly get you on video and audio. Now, I promise I stop talking now. I'm going to introduce Nancy Stewart. She's my co-host. She's my wife. She's part of our business here. We're a family business. In total disclosure, we have a Toyota dealership. So this is not an infomercial. I just have to tell you, it's good that we have a Toyota dealership because we know the dealer side of the story. We are dealers. We are car dealers. We have a Toyota dealership in North Palm Beach. And Nancy is the representative of millions of women in this audience, and she has built the audience from an all-male club back 20 years ago to a 50-50 lady caller club, and she has a special offer for first-time female callers. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to Nancy right now. It's all yours, babe.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. As a token of our appreciation, we extend, a special gift to the ladies. First two new lady callers, you can receive $50. $50 this morning just by calling in. You want to say hello? That's acceptable. If not, you can share a transition that you maybe had this past week in purchasing a vehicle, leasing a vehicle, servicing your vehicle. It's all very important. And not only do you help us, but you help the female audience, whomever is listening and doesn't want to call in because they're a little bashful. So you're supporting me and all of them out there. So give a call, $50 for the first 2 new lady callers at 877-960-9960. Also, we have Lila, our dog of the week from Big Dog Ranch, and she'll be with us later on in the show, probably about 9:30. She's a mixed breed, and it's a special time of the year for dogs. We think of our celebration of independence and everything that comes with it for the 4th of July. And guess what? The dogs, they're not so lucky. Most of them, 99% I'd say, are so sensitive to that loud noise. So it's a great weekend to adopt. It's also a great weekend to foster. I'll talk more about that later on in the show. I have some interesting news that Earl and I talked about earlier this morning, and that's about repair costs. They're on the rise, and of all the places, Service Drive. And now you can take advantage of financing an unpredictable costs that took place. I mean, you may have gone into the dealership and thought, hey, I'm only going to spend about $500, and it ended up costing $5,000. So if this interests you, give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960. We'd love to discuss it with you. And maybe just recently you had a problem when you found out, it's going to cost a fortune to get my car serviced. So with all of that, there's one more thing I'm going to mention, and we'll be mentioning these numbers throughout the show, and that is the Zoom number. You can give us a call on Zoom now. Really exciting. Marty was the first to make history last week, and Marty and I text each other throughout the week, and we carried on about this exciting moment. And it was so great that he took advantage and had Zoom. And he's not only a regular caller, but he was a Zoom caller. So jot this number down. If you want to Zoom us, it's easy to do. If you have a Zoom account, 926-589-0586. That's our Zoom number, 926-589-0586.
It's actually a meeting ID number, and Zoomers will go on their PC or smartphone, and they will go onto their Zoom website, because they're a member, and then by inputting that number, the meeting ID number, they can connect with us.
Thanks for that. And hopefully all of you out there were listening. And if you didn't get a chance to jot that down, Earl and I will be mentioning that throughout the show. But there is a meeting ID number. I refer to it as a phone number, but, perfect English, meeting ID number, 926-589-0586. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
Thank you. Last week we talked a whole lot about this CDK. This is it's a dealer services company. They call them a DMS, Dealer Management Services Company. And you had to hear about it if you watch any of the media. I don't care whether it's digital, television, radio, skywriting. The whole world is jumping on this cyber hack of car dealers. And it started out, we thought it was just something minor because it didn't affect our dealership. A come to find out, we're one of the very few dealerships that it did not affect. I've always said I'd rather be lucky than smart, and we just got lucky. We didn't have the dealer management services company, CDK. And CDK is something you've never heard of. I've never heard of. I'm glad. But too many dealers have heard of it. They're a computer company that's acquired a lot of other companies, and the way this happened is they ended up buying a company, ADP, that had a very, very large number of dealers, and they did all their computer stuff. So if you're dealing today with a dealer, whether it's parts, service, sales, leasing, if you're having any, in fact, if you're working for a dealer today, if you got anything to do with a car dealer today, there's a good chance that your dealership was hacked, certainly much better than 50-50. So you'll want to be careful for a lot of reasons. First of all, their efficiency levels are way down, and they've been down for a week, and they're still down. They're talking about maybe the next few days, but they've been saying that for the past week, that they'll be back. They can't pay their employees accurately. They can't register their sales properly. They can't buy cars from the manufacturers properly. They can't do repairs on cars properly. And so it's a minefield for them, and of course for you, the consumer. So be careful. Now, here's the big bomb to a lot of people: privacy. We all share various concerns about our privacy, and some people are quite concerned about their privacy, and I respect that, and I understand that. Whatever data you shared with your car dealer, and you get pumped for information, when you buy a car or lease a car. I mean, you tell them everything. I mean, the credit statement is pretty personal, right? Even when you have your car repaired, there's a lot of detail. You get home addresses, home telephone numbers, cell phone. Think of anything you don't tell a car dealer when you're buying, leasing, and maintaining and repairing your car with them. There's very few things you don't share with him. Well, that goes into his computer. Now the computer's been hacked, and some guy in China, Nigeria, Kenya, I don't know, overseas, you never know who these hackers are. Typically, most of them are overseas, and they seem to be from third world countries a lot of times. These are smart, real smart young guys. They probably don't even have a college education, but someone taught them how to hack. And they are ransoming CDK. By the way, I was curious this morning. I Googled it. The C stands for a company that this parent company acquired called Cobalt Digital Marketing. The D stands for, I told you earlier about ADP, stands for the D in ADP, and the K stands for Carriage, Keridge, computer company. I mean, who's going to remember that? Maybe they don't want to be remembered. So CDK, I'll call it Charlie Delta Kilo. Charlie Delta Kilo. If they handle the dealer management system for your dealerships, wherever you are, whether you're in Syracuse buying Hondas, or you're in Paducah, Kentucky buying Toyotas, whatever you're buying, find out if CDK handles that your dealership, and in which case your private information has been compromised. Now, this morning, preparing for the show, I'm reading my email, and I got a letter from the Florida Automobile Dealers Association. They assume I've been hacked. My dealership, Earl Stewart Toyota of North Palm Beach, was hacked. Well, as I said earlier in the show, we got lucky. We were not. So, but we're one of the very few dealers in Florida or anywhere else, and especially South Florida. Almost everybody in South Florida got hacked. We got lucky, dodged a bullet. But basically, the Florida Automobile Dealers Association, they say they represent 850 franchise car dealers. And by the way, CDK also was used by used car dealers also. So, but the Florida Automobile Dealers Association only represents the new car dealers. And they're threatening to sue them They're stating the laws that they violated by sharing your personal information. You, the car buyer, you, the car servicer, you shared your personal information with these dealers. Chances are that this has happened to you if you bought a car. I mean, I hate to ruin your morning, but chances are, if you bought a car in the United States, you compromised your personal information. So it's your decision to decide what you want to do. The dealer associations are getting ready to go after CDK. Rick?
Johnny Z. Fradley says, coming soon, the $4.99 CDK cyber attack add-on.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Okay. We're going to go to the phones.
Oh, fantastic.
And we are going to be talking to Lane. He's calling us from Fort Myers. Good morning, Lane.
Oh, good morning.
Welcome.
I called several weeks ago asking about a Toyota 4Runner, buying a Toyota 4Runner.
Uh-huh.
And I've been doing my research, and I went out to a dealer to do a test drive. And I found some that I like and some that I don't like. I did find something interesting. I didn't realize that dealers still have a additional markup on vehicles. Is that common for most of the dealers selling the Toyotas?
Sadly, Lane, it is. And it's not just dealers selling Toyotas. It's dealers selling most all cars. Florida is probably one of the worst situations. You're on the west coast of Florida, in Fort Myers. That's not as bad as the east coast. If you really want to see some, dishonest dealers, start driving south from Palm Beach County and go down to, Dayton, Broward County. That's where you really have a problem. But yeah, most of the car dealers in Florida are doing the addendum label, which is artificial markup on top of the MSRP, and it usually has dealer installed accessories and a market adjustment and that kind of nonsense.
Yeah. I almost fell over when I saw an ADM on a 4Runner for $15,000.
Oh, God. Hey,
it was,
did you get a picture of it?
Well, I don't want to go back, but it was a Toyota 4Runner Pro thing. It was a nice vehicle.
Yeah.
But I said to the guy, who are you going to find to pay $15,000 more for this vehicle?
Yeah.
And that wasn't the only one. I saw others with $7,000, and I said they're out of their minds.
Yeah. Well, you spoke up. A lot of people, Lane, don't have the courage. A lot of people just are intimidated, and they believe sometimes what these salespeople tell them. Oftentimes, first of all, there are more 4Runners available now than there have been in 3 or 4 years. Prices have come down on 4Runners, not gone up. You still have to wait because it's a very popular vehicle, one of the few vehicles that you might have to wait for. But it is negotiable, and they put the addendum on so that they can give you a big discount. You were astute enough to notice the addendum label and the market adjustment addendum. Some people don't notice it. So rule number one is always look at the car, look at the Monroney label and the addendum label. And that educates you, because when you go to the salesman's office or the manager's office and they show you a large discount, what are they discounting? Are they discounting MSRP, or are they discounting MSRP with a big fat addendum like you saw added on top of the MSRP? So it disorients the consumer, the buyer, so he loses his ability to shop and compare. And the first thing you got to be sure of is you see the real Monroney label. You don't want, today you want to get a discount off of Monroney. A year ago you wanted you were lucky to get Monroney. Today you want to get a discount. You sure don't want to pay an addendum. You can buy a Toyota Tundra today at MSRP or slightly less. You certainly don't have to do anything with over, with a addendum. So you've got that information. Now shop and compare the price, and go. There's in Fort Myers area, probably north and south. There's probably another half a dozen Toyota dealers within driving range. Contact them online or by phone and say, "Can you beat this price?" And I guarantee you they will.
Can you still order a 2024 4Runner?
Yes, you can. And
Oh, I can. So I could go to a dealer and say, "Here's what I want," and they could order it for me.
you can. The key will be to find out the delivery time, because you've chosen one of the hottest products Toyota makes, one of the lowest supply, highest demand, and they take longer. Now, my son Stu should be coming into the office studio here any minute, and he would have more day-to-day information on that than I would. But the last time I checked, the Toyota 4Runner, we might have a couple in stock, but we wouldn't have as many as we would, for example, a RAV4 or something like that.
Something like that.
But you will, I guarantee you will get a thousands and thousands of dollars lower price. The more Toyota dealers you contact and get an out-the-door price, be sure to use that word, out the door, and you'll save thousands.
The next question deals with the trade-in. Do I go to CarMax, or how do I handle a trade-in?
Yes, go to CarMax. I highly recommend CarMax. They're honest. They're a publicly owned company, so they're typically less likely to give you a problem, because they have a fiduciary responsibility to their stockholders. They're not going to lie, cheat, and steal like the average dealer. And they do buy a huge number of cars directly from the consumers, and they will give you it's either a week or a 5-day. I think it's a week. A firm buying price on your trade-in, and you can trust that trade-in price. They will pay what they tell you they will pay. The problem is you might be able to get more. So start with CarMax, and then go to a couple of Toyota dealers.
We buy any car.
And we buy anycar.com, right?
Yeah.
And what's the other one?
Carvana.
Carvana, yeah. So Nancy just reminded me, Carvana, we buy anycar.com. They're both online. And then, what is your trade-in? Is it a Toyota?
No, my trade-in is a 2016 Chevy Impala Midnight Edition LTZ. Okay. With 18,000 miles on.
Go to 3 or 4 Toyota dealer used car lots. Drive your car, your trade-in, say, I want to speak to the used car manager, and don't tell him you want to buy a car, especially you don't want to buy a Toyota. Just don't tell him. Just say that you're downsizing, you want to get rid of your Chevrolet. Give me your best price. What will you pay me today for my car? And I'm going to 2 other Chevrolet dealers. I'm going to ask them, if you have the highest price, I'll sell you my car. If you do that twice, you'll get a higher price from one than the other. If you go 3 times, you get an even higher price. The more times. So if you go to CarMax, you go to Carvana, you go to WeBuyAnyCar.com, and you go to 3 Chevrolet dealers, you'll get one heck of a high price for your trade-in. Then, when you decide to buy your new car, your new Toyota 4Runner, and which dealer you're going to deal with, you know the true value of that car. So you will not only get the discounted price from the Toyota dealer that you choose, you're going to get the maximum trade-in price for your car, your Chevrolet trade-in. And the one caveat, and this is fine-tuning it a little bit, but in Florida you get a credit for your sales tax on the amount of your trade-in. So if your Chevrolet's worth $10,000, 6%, that's $600. You'd have to get $600 more if you did not trade it into the dealership that you bought it from. But $600, you'll find out that you'll get probably thousands of dollars more for your trade-in by shopping it around. So the sales tax really won't be a factor.
You'd be surprised. You're in the driver's seat. Just this past week, a young lady that was talking with me who had a trade-in, I advised her on 3 bids. Her car was worth $17,000. She ended up $20,000. Her vehicle was a 2016 And it's definitely, it can be time consuming, but it's really worth your while.
Okay, I'm going to do it. It's great advice, and I appreciate knowing that I can still order a 2024 4Runner.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
And I
well,
may be calling your dealership.
okay. Hey, listen, stay in touch with us. Let us know what you got for that vehicle you're driving, that Chevrolet.
Or I may drive it to your dealership and say, "Well, you give me for it."
There you go.
Hey, wait a minute. My son Stu just walked in the door. Stu, our caller wants to order a 2024 4Runner.
Or let me get my pen and pad out.
Okay.
What's the approximate delivery time?
The 2025 4Runner.
No, he wants the
2024.
2024.
Oh, okay. Probably not that long. Oh, I can't hear anything.
And you know, Lane.
Well, you can order it,
Stu
but
just,
Yeah.
if you'll stay tuned.
yeah, Stu just walked in. He's
The
got to get his bearings
2025s
here.
no, I'm okay. The 2025s are coming out later in the year, and so the 2024s are still around. So body style changed in 2025,
It probably a month or two. Yeah.
or it might even be a ground train.
Yeah, you might find him on the ground, Lane. I hope
Yeah.
I hope we
Stu,
were
could I
able to
call
help
you
you.
during the week?
Huh?
Could I call you during the week just to talk about?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Super.
All right.
This has been great information.
Thank you, Lane. I'm glad we could help.
Bye-bye.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Don't forget, youranonymousfeedback.com. Take advantage of that if you're just a little bit bashful. And also, if you didn't hear earlier in the show, we have a new feature. We started it last week. It's pretty exciting. And we have a Zoom meeting ID number, and you can jot that number down if you haven't. And that number is 926-589-0586. So, and let me tell you what, you can win some money this morning by being the first two, or is it three, Zoom callers?
The first two.
First two, yes, Rick?
I know Negan one's already signed in on Zoom.
Oh, really?
Oh, great.
I think he
That's-
signed
that's
in
great.
before the show even started.
Hey, Negan, if you're listening, I already sent that check out to you. A little late, but better late than never. That meeting ID number for Zoom is 926. I'm going to say it slow. 589-0586. So there you go. And also, don't forget the ladies. First two new lady callers, you can win yourself $50. That's $50 for the first two new lady callers. I'd love to get some feedback about this repair cost rise and what it possibly could cost you. You know, it's going to be, it is a good thing, but it's not a good thing when someone finds a way to take advantage of you. And it could be with interest rates. It could be for a lot of reasons. So we're going to talk about that throughout the show. Sorry about the stuttering here. I'm multitasking. Dawn Brown, Jonathan? Okay. Dawn Brown is also on as our second participant. That's Zoom. Okay, we're going to go back to the phones, and our Zoomers, be patient. Patience is a virtue. Lindsay. Wow. Lindsay is calling us from Tamarack, and Doug, hold on. Good morning, Lindsay.
Oh.
How are you?
How are you? I'm good.
I'm good.
Yes, I'm down here in Tamarack, and I have a 2024 Prius that I got in December. A couple weeks ago, I wasn't driving through that bad weather on that Wednesday down here in South Florida. We did drive home from Orlando on Tuesday. It was raining, but not crazy. So I wasn't going through really deep water like that Wednesday. So the car sat for 2 days, I got back in it on Thursday, and I couldn't breathe. It was full of mold and mildew.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Just a stench. This is a brand new car.
Wow.
So now, since then, anytime I get rained on, it takes 3 or 4 days to get rid of the stench. So my question is, they have a recall on the back door handles, because not handles,
I'm looking
hinges.
for it now. Yeah.
And it said that water can get in
Ooh.
and then damage the hinges, and the doors can fly open while you're driving. So I think that the water is getting in there.
I think that's
But
a
I'm
strong
not seeing
possibility.
any water
yeah.
in the car. But the stench is so bad you can't almost drive in it.
Where would it go, Rick?
are you still under the 3-year, 36,000 mile
Yeah, 24.
warranty?
24 brand new. 24
I bought it in
Prius.
December.
Brand new Prius.
Your next step, go right back to the dealer. Say, hey, this car is not safe to drive. I have water getting inside the car. I have breathing issues, and I cannot deal with this car. I would begin initiating, if they don't get the water leak fixed, and do a complete carpet and padding replacement. I would start making some noise on it, but yeah, I would go right back to the dealership.
And
They
if you
should
want
get
to,
you a replacement car to drive for a
if you
while.
want to play the whole card, the ace and the hole you have, is mention the word lemon law. If it was a safety issue, it wouldn't be a problem. But this is a safety issue. I mean,
Oh,
but
yes.
it's one of these things that you could get an argument about. If they give you any kind of an argument, you should not have to pay to fix this. It's a new car, and as Rick said, it's under the complete bumper-to-bumper warranty. So
Yeah.
the manufacturer, Toyota, should pay for that. All they have to do is the dealer is take the message. Now, you can go directly to Toyota if you have to. Hopefully that won't be necessary. But you're going to win this hands down. You've got the factory on your side. If the dealer's not on your side, then you have the lemon law card to play, and you would win that. They'd have to give you another car. So as long as you play your cards right, you'll get that fixed, whatever it costs.
It sounds a lot like in April this recall came out for the rear door thing, and so they're also gonna cover a rental while they do this for you.
Yes.
So you'll have something to drive while they're working on it. I don't think this should be an issue. This sounds like it's the result of this problem that was
Right.
built in.
However, it can take a few days to get the interior cleaned up and the remediation for the mold remediation to make sure that you're not going to have ongoing issues. The 2 words that I always recommend, polite persistence. Never, ever take no for an answer, but be polite about it. Just keep pushing politely, working your way up the ladder.
And put everything in writing.
And, yep.
Confirm your conversations with text or email.
And,
Okay, well, I called the dealership on Tuesday when, of course, it started raining when I was driving from Naples back to Tamarack. And the gentleman on the phone was trying to mansplain.
Oh no.
And he was giving me there's a water barrier and it can't really be that, ma'am.
Well,
But
No.
I'm
you'd be
just
surprised.
guessing.
You'd be surprised what a confirmation in writing will do. Typically, most companies, when something comes in writing, as a letter, or as a text, or as an email, management has to look at those, because when it's on the record, the lawyers know about it, and there will be no he said, she said. There will be no argument about what you did complain about. And when it goes in writing, your words will become much stronger. So don't forget to do that, please.
you know, Lindsay, at the
Your
end,
suggestion is
end of
email the company I bought it from.
Yeah. At the end of the day, when you start talking about, breathing difficulties, with the dealership that you purchased the vehicle from, and mold and mildew and all these important details, I can't help but think that they would want to solve your problem immediately, because as your last resort, you just don't want this to, end up in the hands of an attorney. You have to drive that vehicle, and the sooner that gets fixed, the better you are going to feel, and the better you can breathe.
Hey, it's just the beginning of this thing. It sounds like she's been denied everything. Just bring it in for the warranty work and see how it goes. But if anything goes wrong, what you just learned is very important.
Yeah, great advice, too. Okay, Lindsay,
Okay.
do you have any
Well,
other
thank you.
questions?
No, that's the only thing I need to get fixed.
All
Hey,
right.
I'd appreciate it if you'd follow up, give us a call, and let us know how this all turned out.
Okay, thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend. Okay, we're going to go to Doug before we go to our Zoom callers. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning. Ella says hello, and why am I getting?
Hello, Ella. Yeah.
Hello.
Meow.
Oh, hello there.
Anyhow, happy Saturday. I'm going in Monday to bring my GR because squeaking. It seems like it's a suspension.
Okay.
Just wanted to know. It seems like when it gets wet, it has more squeaking.
Rick, had any squeaking GRs come in the shop lately?
We have not that I'm aware of.
Had any GRs come into the shop lately?
Very few.
Very few. That's what I figured.
I think there's like one in South Florida.
Is it
two,
really?
maybe.
That's Doug.
Yeah.
Doug and some other guy.
Yep.
Well, squeaking sounds like it could be fixed with a little WD-40, so I wouldn't worry about it. I'm kidding, Rick.
Hey, Doug, is that Ella? Is that Ella making that noise? Squeak, squeak?
Oh yeah,
You taking her for drives?
you have a vocal cat
Ride and drive?
in the back seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she likes the GR
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't if I was a cat.
because it makes a lot of rumbling.
Yeah, they don't like restrictions.
No.
Well, she probably have a hard time reaching the pedals.
It's true.
Doug, give us a Zoom call. Put Ella on. We got. By the way, speaking of Zoom, we have a Zoom caller holding. So I can't wait. We have 2 Zoom callers holding. I can't wait to see if the technical work that Jonathan and Rick and everybody have been doing to get this Zoom working is going to work. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
I understand, Jonathan. Thanks, Doug. Have a great 4th of July.
Thank you.
I'm just curious that the Zoom caller didn't want to be seen, didn't want to say hello. I can understand not having a question.
Right. We have 3 people on Zoom, 4 people on Zoom, but nobody's raised their hands.
Okay, Don, I'll get that check out to you anyway for $100. Would have been nice to chat with you. Okay, that Zoom number, meeting ID number is 926 5926 589 0586. Just when you think you had a number by memory, it slips away.
We have too
Okay,
many
that
numbers.
meeting number
lot of
ID
numbers.
is 926 589 0586. So, I'm going to say that we're going to go to Jonathan. We've eliminated Dawn. Now we're going to go to our next Zoom caller, which is,
We have
okay,
Don is ready to speak. Don is ready to speak.
Okay, we're scrambling around here on our new effort here to have Zoom live and in color video at Earl on Cars. If you happen to be a Zoom caller, want to participate in this experiment, 'cause we've yet to do it, but we're getting close.
I think that while we're holding for our next Zoom caller, and that next Zoom caller is eligible for the $100. So we're going to, while we figure this out, we're going to go to Mike, and Mike's on the phone, and he's calling us from Fort Lauderdale. Morning. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
A great show. It was
Thank you.
Very informative, and I just found it about 3-4 weeks ago.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. My question is on rent leases. My lease is up in November, and I know one time I was listening, and you mentioned the buyback. I wanted to buy the car.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, I just want to make sure I found my contract, and I want to make sure that this is if I want to purchase the car. It says residual value, the value of the vehicle at the end of the lease, used in calculating your base monthly payment, and then it's highlighted, and it says $13,087.
Yes.
Yeah,
Is
Mike.
that the price if I want to buy the car?
Yeah, Mike,
Yes.
that's a very valuable number, and it is engraved in stone. You have that right. The only thing you need to be careful of is car dealers will sometimes add costs, junk fees, to your purchase option price. So Florida law requires that they sell you that car at the lease option price, plus government fees only, meaning license plate and sales tax. So, yeah. Now, but the other thing you need to check is to be sure that that price is a good price. It probably is, because the option price. What is it? A 3-year lease you had, Mike?
3 years, 22. It
Yeah.
was a 22 Hyundai Elantra.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got this is back before the used car prices were soaring, and you've got a bargain price on that, and
know.
and you'll probably, if you want to what we call flip it, buy it and sell it again, you can make a nice profit. But you want to be sure you pay the option price and not 1 penny more, except government fees.
And sales tax. That's it.
That's it.
Now,
Hey,
if they want to raise
Mike,
the price,
you can also try this if they want to raise the price. Try to reach out to Hyundai. We don't have the contact information, but the Hyundai leasing that you went through, if you can contact them and say you want to exercise your right to purchase directly through that leasing company, that bank.
And Mike, just let them know you're an informed consumer. Put it in writing. Send them an email if they try to tell you they want to charge this fee, a preparation fee or a delivery fee or anything that is not sales tax or license plate is a phony junk fee. So if they try, just say, I'm aware that there's a Florida law that says you cannot do this. I'm aware that you have to sell me the car at this purchase option price. It is illegal to do otherwise, and put that in writing. That way, they won't give you any argument because you're in the right. Worst case scenario, you call a lawyer and they've broken the law.
But best case scenario, if you call Hyundai Leasing, and you might be able to not even go to the dealership at all.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. And just a side note, 3 years, I only have 12,000 miles on the car.
That's great. Wow. So you have a great buy figure and an incredibly valuable car. So like Earl said, if you wanted to consider reselling it, you could make a lot of money because it's worth a lot more than that.
It'll be fun to shop the car and see how much money you made because your car is probably worth $3,000 or $4,000 more on the market, wholesale market, than what you can buy it for. So, yeah, the dealership is salivating. The used car manager wants that car real bad, and he wants it at a real low price, and you're not going to give it to him. So
You should charge him some fees.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. I'm going to have to wrap this up, but the guys are definitely on target. You're in a great negotiating position for sure. I've talked to 3 people this week who talked about just what you're looking at. And as I mentioned, a phone call away here, there was one person who got $2,000 more and another who got $3,000 more for that vehicle. Wow. So it's worth definitely looking into.
Definitely. Well, I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Mike. Thank you.
And congratulations.
Have a great weekend. We are going to, I think that we're going to go ahead and go to Don, who's been holding. He's on Zoom. Good morning, Don.
please say hello, Don. Please, I'm begging you.
It's
I'll hum the
way
Jeopardy.
too
Hey,
early
Don,
to start
Don, can
drinking,
you hear us
Don.
out there?
Please,
Don.
please say hello.
And Nancy's not talking about you. She's talking about herself.
Don, do you know sign language?
Hey, Don. What's up, man? I see him. I can't hear him, but I can see him.
He's coming through the Zoom.
Ah,
Not hearing.
hey, how you doing, Don?
We see you, but we can't hear you. It could be on our end or it could be on your
And
end.
if you can hear us, Dawn, raise your hand.
And just everybody remember, when we started streaming at all, this was a regular occurrence. It takes a little while to get a new
That's
technology.
true, yeah.
Okay,
ironed
Dawn.
down.
Excuse me, Stu. Thank you
Maybe
for
we could
raising
do
your hand.
subtitles. Can we do? Can
Hey,
we
listen,
do subtitles?
Dawn, I'm going to send you out that check. You're out there in LaBelle. Thank you.
That's Don and LaBelle?
Yes.
Hey!
Yeah,
I
Don
have a
and
face
LaBelle.
for the name. It's years.
Yeah,
Years he's been
he's out there
listener.
at Springview Circle. Hey, Dawn, thank you so much for being a first Zoom caller. I'll get that check out to you. And, maybe our electronics might be a little more fine-tuned
Yeah.
next week. We're doing the best that we can. And right now, Jonathan
appropriate.
is having a heart
For
attack.
Don and LaBelle to be the first
We're
Zoom
going
caller.
to
That's
save
perfect.
your picture. We're going to do a screenshot of your picture, and you will go down in fame
We put
as
it on the
being
wall there.
the first video Zoom caller. And pretty soon we'll have a video and audio Zoom caller.
Right.
You never know.
We'll have two
Yeah,
rewards.
exactly. And Marty last week was, he made history. We are going to go to Roadrunner. Good morning, Roadrunner.
Beep beep.
Is he in Zoom?
Hey, Roadrunner, you out there? Steve.
Okay.
Yo.
We are going to go to Roadrunner. Give us a call back. You've become a rapper, and you're wearing a lot of rings I see this morning. Hey, we're going to go to Marty. Yo, Marty. You got your check, didn't you, Marty?
You know what I think?
Okay,
We
Marty, if you can hear me, raise your hand. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not on Zoom. Okay.
I think we got to put the plug back into the phone thing. Take it out of the Zoom plug, put it into the phone plug.
We've got to go back to sign language. Okay, we are going to go back to Roadrunner Steve. Can you hear me, Roadrunner?
Hello.
Hey,
Oh.
Steve-O.
Yeah.
Hi ho,
you.
Steve Areno.
Beep, beep.
Stu's holding his
Okay,
chest.
the thing with the car hacking.
The thing,
Okay,
the
did
thing
they
with
do
what?
it again?
The thing with what?
The people that hacked the car dealership.
Yes, the
Did they
CDK.
do it again?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's still the effect of the initial. It's a ransomware attack.
Steve, it's getting worse.
Okay.
It's getting worse and worse. It's dangerous. In Florida, it's hit really hard. Earlier in the show, I read part of a letter, or referred to a letter from the Florida Automobile Dealers Association threatening CDK because they wiped out the businesses of a lot of car dealers. We thought they'd be up and running by now, but right now they can't pay their employees. They
Last
can't.
Monday, they thought they were-
They can't do the service on the cars. They can't buy cars from the factory. They can't sell cars to the consumers unless they do it by hand. And Florida Automobile Dealers Association, and probably the other state
can't hear
associations
that.
all around the country, are going to be suing CDK. And
That's it for CDK.
it's crazy, yeah.
Okay, my question is, are they going to pass the ransom onto the customers?
No,
The
because
money they pay out?
the customers are going to be suing them too, because the customers are suing them because in violation of privacy. I don't know where you bought your last car, Steve, but the dealership that you bought your last car, chances are they were cyber hacked by CDK, and they have all your personal information. They know your home number, your
Social security number.
your credit number, your social security number. I mean, they know everything about you. And now some guy in Nigeria is selling that to the highest bidder. So your privacy has been compromised.
The Russians got you, Steve.
Yeah, the Russians probably.
Remember the old days? I remember buying a car. You go to the dealer, you fill out the paperwork, take the paperwork to the bank.
Yeah, they can do that.
approve the loan,
It can be
go
done.
back to the dealer.
It
How
can
you
be
get your
done, but
car?
extremely inefficiently and not securely. I mean, you could also go there with a sack of cash.
Steve, a lot of the banks have refused to accept you're not going to believe
The
this.
handwritten stuff.
They won't accept a handwritten contract. Now, partly, and I first of all, that got me angry at the banks because when I started the business, all contracts were handwritten.
Yeah.
But I recalled that they are very difficult, and your average salesperson would have difficulty even then filling in all the minutia that you have to go through on an installment sales contract.
Not a matter of calculating all these things. Everything is like, and sometimes you don't even know what you have to calculate.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's very difficult to put together.
So a lot
car
of banks are
dealership.
refusing to accept the contracts. That's why a lot of consumers can't even buy cars. And of course, I think a lot of consumers don't want to buy cars because after what the dealerships have done in terms of privacy, not the dealership per se, but inadvertently through CDK.
The other thing is Ferrari is going to be starting to make electric vehicles.
It'll probably be
In
faster than their
2025
current
or
Ferraris.
2026.
All right. I'll keep my eye out for it.
All right, everybody. Have a good
right,
holiday
Steve.
and stay safe.
Happy 4th.
I'd like to also announce any
Thanks for
dealers
calling.
out there whose DMS is down because of the hack. If you need my help, I know how to calculate a lease with a calculator and a pencil and a piece of paper. So give me a call.
They don't call you Speedo for nothing.
I can't do it quickly, but I can calculate a lease. Give me a calculator.
877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Very helpful for us to give those numbers out slowly because there are so many of them. You can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget your anonymous feedback. We are going to go to our next Zoom caller.
No, we're going to go back to Don.
And no, we're not. We're going to go to Marty right now. Morning, Marty. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I'm on the regular phone.
Okay. How you doing today?
Good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to.
Sorry that it took so long to get those checks out this week. It was really a hectic week.
It's all right.
Hopefully
bank
everyone
said-
got theirs the same day you got yours.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Oh, thanks.
I just wanted to tell you, for the person that wanted to buy their car after the lease is up, you have to go to the manufacturer
Yes.
if you want to pay just what it says on your document. If you want to make payment, they tell you you have to go to the dealer and they're going to charge you everything else. So
That's the safest way, Marty. You're absolutely right. But unfortunately, some of the manufacturers aren't.
Make you go back to the dealer.
Yeah, they tell you to go back to the dealer. The informed manufacturers, the ones that care about you, the car buyer, the consumer, will do that because when they send you back to the dealer, they're opening up Pandora's box, and most dealers are going to try to stick a phony junk fee on top of your purchase option price. So yeah, if the manufacturer, Honda, General Motors, Ford, whoever it may be, does buy your car back, it'll be a clean proposition with no BS.
yeah, when I asked a salesperson at Edmore's Honda, he said there was about a $1,300 or $1,400 extra charge.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I think I'll buy it directly from Honda.
Good
And
for you.
Honda,
That's right,
all I
yeah.
did, once they send you the paperwork, you go to the DMV, put it in your name,
Yep.
and it's done. Of course, you got to want to pay the full price.
Yeah, but that's the deal.
Yeah.
For the full price is a bargain price. So yeah, it's they don't argue with you when you're. Well, they should argue with you, but they can't. They got a contract.
Yeah. Now, CarMax offered me $2,500 more than I paid. Of course, I
Wow.
wanted the car, so it didn't make any difference.
Well, enjoy the moment. That'll probably be the last time you're ever able to do that. So enjoy the moment. You purchased that, you leased that car at the perfect time, but who could have foreseen what was going to happen to used car prices? So it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Hey,
And
Marty.
I don't know
you
who
know-
will agree with me, But if you're in normal days, if you're going to buy the car, you want to do it in the beginning.
Yes.
Because usually you pay more if you lease it and then have to buy it.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, that's not a good plan to start like that way,
You know,
unless you
Marty,
fall in love with your car.
I know you've heard this from us in past shows. Do you realize how informative you are? And do you know what the icing on the cake is? Your experience. Because you talk like you've had experience in all of this, whether it's leasing, whether it's buying, whether it's servicing. And I know we've asked you before to join Earl's Vigilantes, but I'll take it one step further. Can you commit to calling us once a week on Saturdays
tried.
to share your information?
I don't think you can. He's too busy.
Marty, did you hear what Stu said? He said
Yes.
you're too busy. He says you're booked.
Yeah. Well, a few people ask me to go with them when they buy a car.
Few
But
people? Oh.
A few do, so that's
I never
great.
said it.
Yeah, he's a vigilante.
We're going to start giving your name and number out because we need.
Yeah, well, I know he's not a
we need you as
vigilante. He doesn't want to.
But he is. He's a vigilante's vigilante. He's like
He's a
he's a Sigma wolf.
well, he's
out.
a quiet vigilante.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm a
Marty,
tough
I'll go
buyer.
with you. I'll go with
Tough
you, Marty.
buyer.
Oh, real quick on the topic of buying out your lease, to Mike who called earlier with the Hyundai, I looked it up. You can call a Hyundai leasing advisor. Go to their website and you can go there and start the process there. I bet you skip the dealership if you do that.
Pretty soon you'll be able to call Amazon.
Exactly, and then return it.
There you
All right,
go.
well, everybody have a good 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July, Marty.
You too, Marty.
Thank you.
Okay.
That meeting ID number for Zoom is 926-589-0586. That's 926-589-0586. And ladies, I'm sitting here patiently waiting to hear from you. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. And I have $100 for one more Zoom caller. And Dawn has called us back on Zoom. Are you there? Are you there, Dawn?
Audio.
Nope.
Okay. Hey, earlier, while I'm waiting for Dawn, earlier in the show, I was talking about something Earl and I were discussing this morning, and that's repair costs and how they're on the rise. Okay. Oh, Dawn's back. Hey, good morning, Dawn. Well, Dawn, you look dashing. I'm looking at you for the second time.
Don, we can see you, but say something. I'm begging you.
We could describe him
Put
for
your hand
our
up.
audience.
Put your hand up,
Yeah,
Dawn.
raise your hand if you can see us. I mean, hear us. We still have a glitch, folks. I'm sorry. I apologize, and it's not for lack of trying. This is a major breakthrough. It isn't just like anybody's doing this. We're the only radio show. I hate to even call us a radio show anymore. We're a cyber show, but we're the only one that offers Zoom. So we are breaking the ice on a brand new technology. Please bear with us, and I promise you, we will be getting this right. This is the third week. We finally got the the video working. Now we need to get the audio with the video, and we're almost there. So next week.
Now bear with us, Dawn. I'm not going to put you through that again to call again on Zoom.
Well, you get the $100. You get the $100 anyway.
Yeah, the check's in the mail, Dawn. You don't have to worry about that. Jonathan's going to have a stroke, and I'm going blind. Poor guy. He's got 12 different. He's like, I don't know. Anyway, we understand. We are going to go back to the phones. We're going to go to Melbourne, where Al is waiting to talk to us. Good morning, Al.
Morning.
Welcome.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I've got a question on that last gentleman that's trying to sell his car, his lease car.
Yeah.
Now, Earl mentioned that besides the residual price, to pay only the taxes and registration fee. But isn't it most contracts also have a purchase option fee? Like my contract has $300 I have to pay. My lease is up.
Are you talking about when you lease the car, there was a lease administration fee. So the leasing companies are not prohibited by law from charging that. That's in my opinion, it's a junk fee. But all the leasing companies do it. It could be $300. It could be $500. Even the Toyota leasing uses it. I don't like it. But it should not affect your purchase option price. Your purchase option price, you've already got hosed for the dealer administration or the lease administration fee. So the price that you see as purchase option on the lease is the maximum price you pay plus government fees only. In other words, that it translates into Florida sales tax and your license plate, Florida license plate. Those both go to the government of Florida, and they are both not. They're both something you have to pay by law. That's the only thing that can be added to the purchase option price of your lease.
Okay, but in my case, though, it also adds that purchase option fee.
Well,
so
then
you're saying that. Well, actually, I remember the last time I turned in my lease, which I sold to them because they wanted it bad.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have to pay anything, any sales tax or anything on that deal.
I would, if they're trying to sneak something in on you or you suspect it, confirm your conversation in writing. And I've said this 2 or 3 times this morning in the past, that a lot of times people are too verbal. In other words, if you're talking to a manager or even the dealer himself or the salesman or anybody, and you're talking back and forth on the phone, who's going to remember who said what to whom? And it'll be a John and Mary lawsuit. John said this, but Mary says John didn't say that, blah, blah, blah. That written word, that text that confirms your verbal understanding with the person. So you say to the salesperson, the manager, this is my purchase option price on my lease. I'm reading this from my lease, and you mention the number. I will pay only that price, not 1 penny more, except I will agree to pay the Florida sales tax, and I'll buy a Florida license plate. Now that's in writing. So if they try to trick you, you have it in writing, and they know they're dead meat then because they're breaking Florida law. It's a federal law, actually. The Federal Truth in Leasing Act, 1976. They're violating a federal law, and you have proof that they violated the law in writing. They won't take that chance because the court would cost them a lot more money in legal fees to defend themselves than they pay to waive that fee for you.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome.
You're welcome, Al. Okay, that number again for our Zoom ID meeting number is 926-589-0586. $100 for the next Zoom caller. Take advantage. 926-589-0586. Can buy a lot of hot dogs this weekend.
You know, we have a lot of listeners out there. I was just thinking when I was listening to you give that number out that don't know what Zoom is. And we have listeners that don't know what an iPhone is. So there are a lot of people that are just not caught up in the technical revolution that we're going through. But Zoom is something that you can use to contact anybody on your PC, on your smartphone, and you have an audio and video conversation. On your smartphone, they call it FaceTime. iPhones call it FaceTime. You have other ways to communicate video and audio, but probably the biggest and most accepted is Zoom. And it's really cool. And you join Zoom, you go to zoom.com, and there is a fee, a monthly fee, and it's not too bad. And you will enjoy a lot of. Well, I like it better than a regular meeting. And our dealership, we use Zoom meetings instead of in face-to-face meetings because they're easier, more flexible. So consider joining Zoom. Go to zoom.com. sign up if you like, and you use it for a lot of reasons, and then you'll have the ability to talk to Nancy or Rick or the Stu or me. You can see me and Nancy. You see all of us, and we see you, and then you have that warm and fuzzy feeling at your voice and your face.
Yeah, exactly. Once you sign up, you know, it's just so easy. Once you sign up, get established,
Yes.
and you'll find that you'll use that feature on more than just Earl on Cars. You'll be using it a lot because it's a way to communicate and look someone in the eye, which is a special feature.
I'm looking into the lipid pools of your eyes as we speak.
There you go. And I'm
Do
looking.
you like that, lipid pools?
Lipid.
Is that right?
I wouldn't say that. That means fat.
Oh, I thought that was a.
Yeah, lipid is a
I thought
fat.
that was a compliment.
Limpid.
Limpid would
The,
be
the
good.
lipid pools.
Limpid might be good. Not limpid.
Put an M in there.
Limpid
I'm
is a
going to
perspiration.
Google that.
Well,
Okay,
limpid.
ladies and gentlemen, or ladies, I'm still waiting to hear from you. 877-960-9960, and you'll win yourself $50 this morning. First two new lady callers. Stu, you were saying?
Oh, I was just telling.
Oh, you were
limpid,
adding-
Limpid means clear, and lipid means it's a fat at the basis of fats.
adjective.
But I got some from Anne Marie, unless you got a caller.
I have another
You got stuff.
classier adjective.
Okay.
But I digress. Okay, we are going to Jonathan. I'm sorry to holler your name again. I know you're going to change your name, but do we have Roger?
We don't have any audio. Roger was the second participant.
Okay.
who gets the
Will
chance.
we be able to see his face? It's not important, but I can get. I'll get Roger's check out to him if we have his contact information,
You would have to
which
speak
I
in order
know
for us to see him.
Okay.
you probably do.
No,
I'm sorry.
Jonathan didn't have a microphone, so you can't hear the other half of this
I'm reading
conversation.
his lips.
Yeah, but the listeners don't know what he's saying.
We don't want him. We
There's
don't want anyone
probably
to
a
know what
reason
he's
Jonathan
saying.
doesn't have a
That poor
microphone
guy's
right
holding
now.
his head.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jonathan might
All
say
right,
some bad words.
Ladies, $50 for the first two new lady callers. I bet you heard me say that earlier. Please, give me a call. Come on. I feel like the Lone Ranger. $50 for the first two new lady callers. 877-960-9960. And also for everyone else, you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget your anonymousfeedback.com. We're going to go to Stu, who
All right.
has some...
Well, I got some texts that came in. Let's start with Anne Marie's. Anne Marie says, good morning. Years ago, vehicles with manual transmissions had the better fuel efficiency. Now I understand that current vehicles with automatic transmissions provide the better fuel efficiency. 1, why? 2, what changed? Thanks. P.S. May everyone have a safe and happy 4th of July. Thank you.
happy 4th.
Get on it, Rick.
Manual transmission, 6 shifts, have a direct connection between the engine and the transmission by way of the clutch. Automatic transmissions have a torque converter that slips. So some of the power is lost in that torque converter. You don't get all of the energy transferred directly into the transmission to go to the wheels. However, because you're using a wider range of engine speed in a manual transmission, you're shifting at longer intervals, so the speed goes up and down, you'll use a little more fuel than that. Modern automatic transmissions, however, the torque converters have a lockup. So once it's made its connection and it's starting to spin, it'll actually lock a clutch in there, and that lost energy is now recaptured and re-increases our fuel economy and brings it up to be equal or better to the standard transmission.
Well, there you go. You just can't beat the machines, Anne Marie. They're going to
Emery,
they're
have
going to destroy us all.
a great 4th of July.
Yeah, and I got a text from Johnny Z. Fradley. And he moved to Lebanon, Missouri, very small town there, 15,000 population from Florida. And they have 2 Ed Morse dealers. Mr. Earl, you should be listening to this. 2 Ed Morse dealers in Lebanon, Missouri. And they're across the street from each other. There's a Ford and Chevy dealership. Very small. Johnny Z. Fradley went there Sunday, first to the Ford, take a picture of their addendum, so you could compare it to the Honda dealership that we shopped in May. I was trying to look for that, but I got to read this now. He took pictures of it. There's big differences on the add-ons. The second and third add-on prices are actually just recommended, so it's just pretty much $5.99 for 10. That's kind of funny. But he sent a picture, and it looks considerably bigger than the Ed Morris Honda one down here. So this is in Missouri, and we talked about small towns. So I'm looking at a picture. Let me see if I can send this to Jonathan.
That's the show me state.
It is the show me, and they're showing us a big old addendum here. Quickly send it to Jonathan real quick. So it's huge. It's like they have a markup. They have a like a market adjustment, and they also have a bunch of equipment and stuff. So, all right. So here it is. Market adjustment: $2,000, $575 for wheel locks, $375 for mud guards, $375 for full screen protector, $395 for door handle guards, $295 for door edge guards, $485 for rear bumper protection, and the total package cost is $4,495. But
How much were those wheel locks?
$595.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
40.
wow.
I think they're like $40-$50, right? You can get them on.
So they lock and unlock themselves. They're
Exactly.
automatic lock.
Right.
They use an app on the iPhone to come on
You
and off
just
the
ask
car.
them to unlock when you
Man.
when you need to change your tire. You say unlock, and it comes off by itself.
Wow.
It's incredible. Ed Morris has got your back. Thank you,
boy.
Johnny Z.
There you go.
And then what else? Who else we got here? Bob. Oh, got a question from Bob. When utilizing the Costco auto buying program with a dealer that sells at MSRP and no extras except for government fees and taxes, my question is: does the dealer is supposed to sell the vehicle at its lowest price that has sold the vehicle? Would not the price be the same as not using Costco program since the lowest price has been MSRP? Very good question. And the answer to that is Costco never allowed anyone to sell it just at MSRP. If you're going to sell it at MSRP as your lowest price, which we didn't know very many dealers that were doing that. We were. And so the question really applies to us. We would, when we are ready to put cars up for sale through Costco, we would sell it for several hundred, maybe $200 or $300 below MSRP. But yeah, it was lower. And you have to stick to the program if you're a Costco dealer. It has to be the lowest price that you would sell it than to any of your customers. So that's the answer to that. And then we just had a question from Bob. Wanted to know if at our dealership, if we charge the same amount as a Lexus dealership when a service or a Toyota dealership. We charge our normal service charges, and you do save money if you're a Lexus owner. But you do have to take your Lexus to a Lexus dealership for warranty repairs. But for oil changes and rotations and filter changes, things like that, Toyota dealership will do it a lot cheaper than the Lexus dealership, and just as well. And that's it for texts.
Okay, how about you, Rick? Before
Well-
you get on, Rick, let me remind the ladies again. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. The number here is 877-960-9960. Give us a call, and if you just want to say hello, that's perfectly acceptable. Or if you want to elaborate on what I talked about earlier about repair costs and how they're on the rise, and how Service Drive is financing those costs, give us a call toll free at 877-960-9960.
And they're not sparing you any interest rates when they do that. So it's just another way for car dealers to get you into the box, which is where they make huge, unconscionable finance profits. It happens now when you buy cars, and it's beginning to happen when you want to finance your repair costs.
Yeah, and I may as well add to that because it's really important. Just whenever you think that you have to do so much homework, and you have to protect yourself, let me tell you what, whenever you have a repair that hits you, that maybe you thought you were going to be spending $500 and you end up spending $5,000, you're going to probably have to finance. So you have to really do your homework because you could be taken advantage of in so many different ways. You really want to take care of your the whole financial thing in advance. I'm talking about maybe you have a credit union or the bank or your lender. So you need to get 3 bids, and please don't go through the dealership. Finance is just going to cost you an awful lot if you don't do your homework. I have a lady caller, and her name is Daisy, and she's calling us from Tequesta. Daisy, good morning. Good morning, Daisy.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, we're well, thank you. It's great to hear from you, Daisy. You're a neighbor of ours in Tequesta.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you're a first-time caller. You just won yourself $50 this morning. If you stay on the line, you can give Jeremy in the control room your contact information, and I will get that check out to you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. What can we do for you? Would you like to talk about something?
I enjoy listening to your program.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
And the contact information to Jeremy?
Continue to watch and listen. And by the way, Daisy, if you have a Zoom account, I don't know whether you heard us talking about it earlier. Do you have a Zoom account?
I did hear you talking about it.
Oh, great!
But I don't have one.
Spread the word to anyone and everyone. I have 2 favors to ask of you. First of all, there's a lot of ladies that are listening to you who don't. Well, they're a little bashful. They don't want to call in, but you have set the stage. And not only that, you're helping me build a platform here for the ladies. They're an important part of this industry. Again, stay on the line. Give your information to Jeremy. He'll give it to me, and I'll mail you a check.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Happy 4th of July.
You too.
Okay, our lines are down, and we're going to go back to Rick.
Okay. First thing is, Johnny C. Fradley said that the first picture is Missouri of the 2 that they shared, apparently.
Yes. Okay.
And the other one is the Honda.
Oh, okay.
Addendum.
I got it backwards.
Did you say Hyundai?
The Honda from
Honda.
Both were Ed Morse. So okay, looking at the first picture here, yes, it's still got an addendum at the Ford dealership, but it's not as crazy as the Honda dealership one. So, but it's still surprising up in a small town, Johnny.
Yeah,
to have a. I mean, maybe we're just that's just our limited experience. We've been to, Florida, Pennsylvania, Georgia. So it's not. We haven't done the whole country.
Actually, come to think of it, small towns, we always say, the people, country-like, friendly, neighbors, and all the small town things.
It's all a myth.
But the fact of the matter is, in a small town, you have fewer dealerships to compare. So I guess people can live in a small town, go to a dealer, and never go anywhere else to buy a car. So you get away with whatever.
I do know a dealer who operates out of in Amarillo, Texas. He says it's so flat out there that you can see your dog run away for 2 days. And he goes, there is no competition for like 45 miles of any make model to him.
So he can do anything
he owns
wants.
the market. He prices how he wants to. And he's a decent guy. He doesn't go crazy, but he does make very, very strong profits.
And they say your competition, well, they sell it for me for less. You say, well, it's only 600 miles away. Why don't you drive over and check it?
I'll wait.
Yeah.
And Kim Appreciates Life says, by the way, when I called the Phil Smith Kia last Saturday, the Kia service guy on the phone told me that he also watches Earl on Cars.
Oh,
really?
So a Kia service dealer.
That's pretty cool.
Service techs, they're service writers.
Well, that's fantastic.
Are watching us.
How nice.
Well, they're watching you, Rick. I mean, they don't.
How nice.
Yeah, they're not watching me.
Seriously, it's interesting. We probably have a unspoken, unrecognized audience out there because we know the car salespeople are watching, but I never thought about the technicians. I wonder how many. Hey, if you're a technician anywhere working on automobiles like Rick does,
Call in and say hi.
we'd love to hear from you. 877-960-9960, and because you're a technician, you're high tech anyway, so you're probably a Zoom member, and you're a Zoom member, you can Zoom us, and we can see you, but we can't hear you this week. But the Zoom ID number, meeting ID number is 926-589-0586. A meeting ID number for Zoom, 926-589-0586. You're a tech. You can Zoom us or call us, and I tell you, you enjoy talking to Rick because he's been doing this for 25 plus years, and he knows what he's talking about.
Hey, you know how long they've probably been listening to Rick right here at Earl on Cars? Probably forever. Do you know why? Because he's giving them tips.
Yeah,
Things that they don't even know.
Never thought about that.
That Rick knows.
Yeah, maybe they are calling the show and they're disguising themselves as consumers because they don't know how to fix the car.
Hey,
and we should be charging them for a diagnosis.
It's up to you, Rick. We'll toss your Venmo out there.
That's a little cult they have.
Mark H. has a question. He says, how hard is it to buy a Florida car and drive back to register in New York State? Does your dealership issue a temporary tag, or how does that work?
You get a temporary tag. Or if you're trading in your car, you have your... actually, no. If you're trading in your car, you still would do the temp tag if you'd be driving up to New York.
All states have a reciprocity agreement with other states, and there might be one or two exceptions if they are. I don't know who they are, but almost all 50 states...
Alaska and Hawaii.
Yeah, right, Hawaii. Anyway, then you let the dealership that you're buying from know. Now, the reason you do this is because you're going to have to pay sales tax in the state that you reside in. So just because you're vacationing in Florida and you want to buy a car and your permanent resident is in New York, you got to pay Florida New York sales tax. So you get temp tag, as Stu said, and the dealer should not charge you for this. It'll give you 30 days to take care of things in New York, and as I say, the dealership will handle the paperwork so that you'll have that for you to present to the Department of Motor Vehicles in New York or whatever state you're from.
Okay, it is time for us to get to our Dog of the Week.
Can I make one other quick statement?
Sure.
A day early, but happy birthday, Jonathan.
Happy
Tomorrow
birthday,
is Jonathan Cantor's birthday. Jonathan is our technical expert here. That he's the guy that makes all these cameras,
connects us to the world,
and the microphones and everything. He's the guy that makes all this work, gets all this streaming going, and he has been burning the candle at 3 different ends.
That's right.
To get this Zoom issue figured out.
Yeah.
But happy birthday, Jonathan.
Happy birthday. And Rich just put a huge amount of pressure on you.
It's amazing. He keeps us on the straight and narrow, and he is here much, much earlier than any of us are, and he does an amazing job. A special happy birthday to you, Jonathan, and I hope that you have a fabulous weekend. Okay, speaking of weekends, 4th of July is coming up, and I mentioned earlier in the show, about we're going to the Dog of the Week right now, so let me set that stage first of all. But these dogs, during the 4th of July, they're not having as great a time as you're having, and it's really difficult for them, to find some place of refuge.
Yeah, and they're afraid of fireworks, so not only aren't they having a good time, they're hiding under the bed. Well, a lot of them really do.
Yeah, they really have it really causes a, adverse reaction on them, and those poor babies. So my point here is not only can you adopt a dog, but you could foster one. Fostering means that, it's just temporary, and you could give the little pooches someplace to, hide, or, like Earl said, climb up in the bed during these crazy fireworks, and the fireworks have gotten totally out of control.
Do they make earplugs for dogs?
Pardon me?
Do they make earplugs for dogs?
You know, I think it's more than that. It's most definitely more than that. Their souls, these, I don't want to tear up. They're just,
Some morons were shooting them off on Thursday night during the debate.
it's just become Rick?
My dog, we give her, we call them the happy pills. It's a sedative pill that we start early in the day, and we give her just a half a pill every few hours.
Are these prescribed?
Yes, we got them from the veterinarian.
Is that right? Wow.
And
I'm coming to your
Doggy
house.
value.
by that
I need
evening,
one of those.
she is loopy, and when
she
it
didn't
starts
care.
booming, she'll get a little nervous. She'll
Yeah.
wander around a little bit, but usually by the time they start really getting going, she is sound asleep.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
at this
That's a
point in
great
time,
idea.
like
Yeah.
Stu said, in some neighborhoods, they start a week in advance.
yeah.
You don't
Okay.
give them anything to smoke, do you?
No.
Okay, Jonathan has given me the high sign. We got to roll here. We're running out of time. We got to get to our mystery shopping report. Our dog of the week is Lila. Lila is a year old, and Lila is, of course, a female. She's about 36.5 pounds, and she is just an amazing little pooch, and she's just so cute. She's black and white.
Layla.
And her birthday is December the 12th.
Wow.
She was born the day after,
After you.
your.
Day after
Yeah,
now.
so she's got to be a good dog.
About 80 years later, though.
So, she's a super sweet little girl, and she is just amazing. I'll let you be the judge. Take a look at the video that Jonathan is going to roll right now.
Sorry.
Hi, this is Layla, and this beautiful little black beauty is a dog from Palm Beach County Rescue Animal Control. She came to Big Dog Ranch and has had babies. She was actually just a baby having babies because she's only 15 months old now, and you can see the puppy look in her face still. She's just a sweetheart,
That noise
wants
you hear is
love
a
and
tail, by the
attention,
way.
really walks nicely on the leash. Come on, Layla.
Oh, it's not a tail, sorry.
Definitely likes to sniff.
Sounds like somebody's walking in my ear.
There's all kinds of good smells out here. Curious. She's in a room with several other dogs. Gets along good. And she could really use a nice home. Here, Layla. I know. You're going to give me nice hugs. Okay.
This is really affectionate.
Oh, she's so sweet.
How old is she?
No, sit.
She's a year old.
Just a year
Actually,
old.
she's a year and a half.
A year and a half. She's still a puppy.
And remember, ladies and gentlemen, that we do pay the adoption fee. The adoption fee can save you quite a bit of money.
Good girl. Yay.
Isn't she sweet?
She
And you can
is.
see she likes her treats.
She is food
Doesn't
motivated.
she have
as
a
they
pretty
say.
face? All right, so you can adopt Layla here at Big Dog Ranch.
All right.
And there's so many other dogs at Big Dog Ranch that need adopting, and you can go to their website and you can fill out your application for a background check, because let me remind you, they're just not passing dogs out at Big Dog Ranch. Not at all. They do a background check, and you can go to bdrr.org. And you can
And ask about Layla first, though.
you'll see Layla right up there, and also they are having, a lot of festivities out there for the 4th of July, so you can go out, spend most of your time inside with the heat wave, but you'll still get a chance to see all the precious pups out there. Speaking of pups, they have puppy land out there. You don't want to miss that. And remember, the $200 adoption fee is paid for by Earl Stewart Toyota, and also remember that they do have a veteran program out there that is pretty special. They put a whole lot of time into that, matching up a veteran with a special dog, and it's a special program. And I think that Roadrunner would attest to that, and so many of our other callers. Also, Earl's book, the Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. You can also purchase that book. You can purchase that book on Amazon. Guess where all of the costs of that book go? They go to Big Dog Ranch. Big Dog Ranch. So you can go to Earl on Cars and you can order your book, or you can go straight to Amazon and order your book. That cost of that book, I believe, is $19.99.
Yeah, they vary it. I haven't checked recently. It's about $20.
Yeah. So all proceeds go to Big Dog Ranch. We are going to swing right into our mystery shopping report, and let me remind you that you too can vote. Bless you. You too can vote on the mystery shopping report, and you can do so at 772-497-6530. And you can also go to Good Dealer, Bad Dealer, and you can see how we have posted each mystery shop, or excuse me, each dealer. Now, and again, I'll remind you, 772-497-6530. That's where you can vote on this mystery shopping report that I don't have in front of me, but that was...
John Hall Chevrolet in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, we went to Daytona Beach. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
You know, for you folks that are new to the show, you really got to stay tuned for the next 10 minutes or so. This is just something you will never hear or see if we get the Zoom going ever on any show. We actually are, Agent Lighting comes in and pretends to buy a car. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly about John Hall Chevrolet. I don't want to give it away, but exactly what happened, and we're naming names, and this is an actual experience 2 days ago that our Agent Lighting had when she went in to pretend to buy a car at John Hall Chevrolet in Daytona Beach. Speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lighting. And Stu wrote this, by the way. He puts together the notes and the information from Agent Lighting, and this is his prose, you might say. But it's all actual. It's all true. We don't stretch anything. These are the facts. A young salesman was waiting outside. What's that?
I didn't say anything.
I'm hearing voices. A young salesman was waiting outside as we pulled into the lot and began walking up to meet me. My husband laughed and said he spotted us as I was getting out of the passenger seat of the car and wished me luck. The salesman extended his hand, introduced himself as Javier. He asked me, "Is he coming with you?" I'm referring to my husband. I said, "That's my brother." Actually, it was her husband, but she chose to say, or maybe it was her brother.
It was her brother. He assumed it.
I think it was her husband, though. He brought me over today to check out a Trailblazer. I'm moving up to be closer to him very soon, meaning up in Daytona Beach. Now, Daytona Beach, for you folks out of the area, is it's on the East Coast. It's pretty much mid-state Florida. It's not South Florida. That's my point. And when I talk about evil dealers and dealers breaking the law and just absolutely, most of them ought to be in jail. I'm talking South Florida. I'm not talking about Daytona Beach. In fact, the further north you get in Florida, usually the better the behavior. Not always, but usually. Javier said, "Do you have anything special in mind, specific in mind?" I said, "I was looking online, saw that you have the Trailblazer marked down $3,000 to $5,000. Now, this is what we do often in mystery shops. We get the bait and switch because if you're going to respond to an advertisement, online or otherwise, you're not going to respond to a car dealer or any retailer that advertises a high price. So what do? They advertise a low price. Well, they want to get you in, and they don't want them to go into the other dealers, so the dealers try to advertise a price that no other dealer would advertise that low. So consequently, you have this fraudulent race to the bottom of ridiculously low prices, and this is what we find. This case here, the ridiculously low price was marked down $3,000 to $5,000. Now, what do you think when you think a product's marked down? You don't think that it's been marked up 5,000 first and then marked down. No, you don't think that. You think it's marked down. That's bait and switch. I continue as Agent Lightning. Referring to the big banner on their website, I showed him on my phone. He said, I do have a few in stock. Let's go take a look. Now, 6 months ago, he wouldn't have had any stock. He had a few in stock, which probably means he had a lot in stock, which means that the prices are coming down. So you car shoppers today, it is a buyer's market again. And when you go into a dealer that's really trying to put it to you, and the addendums, the junk fees, the dealer install accessories, they're still trying, folks, but they can't do it anymore because the competition is beginning. The discounts are beginning from the manufacturers and the dealers. So it's a buyer's market. We walked over the lot, and I fell in love with one, a new 2024 Chevy Blazer in fountain blue. I love the names. Stu says, get it? It's just, you know.
I thought it was stupid at first, and it took me a second. Whoa, fountain blue.
Fountain blue, yeah.
We have a hotel down
Yeah,
there.
Miami hotel, yeah. That's right. MSRP of $34,470. Monroney label was right in the right place. Now, that's the reason I know it's not South Florida. If this mystery shopping report had been in Miami, the Monroney label, the sticker, would be God knows where. I mean, it would be in the trunk, it would be in the trash can, glove compartment, on the floor. We don't know what happens to addendum labels or Monroney labels in South Florida. Now, here's another proof that
it's the heat and humidity, the adhesive that just peels right off.
So here, there's no addendum on this at Daytona. No addendum. So here's two pluses for Daytona Beach and for John Hall Chevrolet. No addendum and a Monroney label in the right place. Continuing, Javier, the salesman, asked, would you like to take a closer look and perhaps drive it? I said, yes, please. He walked back inside for the keys, but was only gone a minute. He returned and auto started the car. You know, that's cool, right? I mean, you do it, press the customer. Chances are you trade it doesn't have an auto start, so he hit the key, started the car. As he was walking back, he went over all the features it has, and then we went for a test drive. I really liked it, and it handled, and said, I'd like to see it out the door price, if possible. And of course, out the door means different things to different people, right? To the car dealer, it means nothing. To you and me, it means what you could write a check for and give it to the guy and take the car home. I promise you, it does not mean that to him. So there you are. Javier said, what you'd expect? This is right in the book. Salesman's Handbook. If he forgot, and he reaches in his pocket and pulls a little book out, it's going to say, are you planning on buying today? Okay. Now, that means that you got a keeper here. I mean, you want to get serious. You want to start the road toward a legitimate price. You never get there, but you don't want to let them go, as we say. Don't let the car buyer go too high because he'll buy from your competition. So, okay, are you buying today? I said, well, I'm in the process of selling my house, and I'm buying a new one. It should be done at the end of the week, so I don't want to do anything against my credit until it's over. He said he understands. He'd love to earn my business. We went inside to his desk, and he asked, what exactly would you like from me today? I replied, I'd like to see a breakdown of what it will cost me to buy the car. Do you ever get the feeling that you're repeating yourself? You want the price, right? He gathered some info for me and asked if I was an educator. Can you picture yourself at Publix and you're buying a loaf of bread, and the cashier says, do you have a college education? Were you in the military? Are you a member of the farm credit union?
I would say, are you trying to hire me?
Do you bake bread?
So he wants to know if I'm an educator, I'm in the military, I'm serious, or knew anyone who was a General Motors employee that could get me a discount. So now here he's defrauding General Motors and you and himself and the dealer.
Putting the burden on you to get the
Yeah,
discount.
he's going to lie to General Motors to get a discount and give it to you.
I could go on my Facebook page and ask all my Facebook friends, is anybody a GM employee here?
Yeah. Now, and Javier now says, he said he was doing his best to save me money. Well, he's doing his best to enhance his commission and the profit to the
so
dealership.
they don't discount it.
Yeah.
they want those rebates from
There you go.
GM.
Everything I told him, he wrote down on a piece of paper titled Preferred Customer Plan. He then excused himself to talk to his manager. The games had begun. While he was gone, I noticed he had a bunch of customer pictures hanging on his wall. Nice touch. Customer pictures on the wall with a photo album and an award on his desk. Now, this means, speaking seriously, that's a good sign. He's been there for a while. Most salespeople you talk to haven't been there very long because they move from dealership to dealership or from dealership to God knows where. The turnover is what I'm trying to say.
Jail?
Yeah, right.
Javier found a home.
Right. Javier was only gone for a few minutes and then returned with the preferred customer plan, but now it looked and smelled like. I love this. It's amazing. Agent Lightning's got a nose like Nancy. She can smell anything. Now, and here, Agent Lightning can smell the black Sharpie ink. She can. I mean, I can't smell anything.
I can smell a Sharpie.
Yeah, well, if I stuck one in my nose, I'd smell it. His manager hand wrote all the figures on the form. The top line was MSRP $34,470. Well, that's a fair start, right? I mean, that's what they should do. There was a $3,000 discount. Then they added, but it wasn't a discount. You regulars know what I'm saying. Yeah. They pretended there was a $3,000 discount. It was difficult to decipher.
This is all handwritten, and did you see that picture?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did I get it right? Because I think I'm off a couple of $100, but it's the same result. The result is the same. Sorry.
And then they added $1,014 for government fees, which is just absolutely BS.
Not true. Yeah.
It couldn't possibly be that high because government fees can only be sales tax and license plate, and it ain't going to be $1,014 on this car with an MSRP of $34,470. Just do the arithmetic. And the out-the-door price.
Then they added just some blank, fees.
Oh yeah,
generic.
I missed that.
Yeah.
And they added, here we go, another $1,295 in fees on top of the junk fees that were hidden in the quote-unquote government fees. So there's more fraud, and the out-the-door price was $35,898. Where did that? Of course, that's over MSRP, and as I'm saying, the days of over MSRP are gone, folks. Particularly for Chevrolet. If you want to buy a Chevrolet, unless it's a Corvette, that's just the exception to the rule. But any other Chevrolet in the world, you can buy substantially below MSRP, and so they gave me that out-the-door price above $1,295. I thanked him for his time and said, I'll be in touch. Javier rushed to tell me this is the only one we have in that color. May or may not be true about that, but he's got a lot of them. And I'm almost certain they aren't making them in that fountain blue color anymore. May or may not be.
Almost certain.
Yeah. Are you sure there isn't anything else I could do to earn your business? He continued, this car is $3,000 off because we're trying to make sales to meet a quota by the end of the year.
And it's June.
So this is June. And he's worried about the end of the year. That's nonsense. But there could be, if you hit a certain quota, it could be General Motors.
They have year-long contests.
Yeah,
they said they have a Trailblazer contest.
But you're not going to speculate in June about dipping into a bonus you might not get in December.
No. The reality of it, they're not taking $3,000 off, so they're not that desperate.
He says we're one of the largest dealers around. Well, that might be true in Daytona, Florida, and no others are able to offer a significant discount plus financial specials. Well, that's not true, of course. I mean, they're all car dealers, all Chevrolet dealers buy the Chevrolets for the same price. Okay, it's a misconception. A lot of people, a lot of buyers, and if you're a consumer listening, which you probably are a consumer listening, think about it. The largest Chevrolet dealer in the world, the largest Toyota dealership in the world, largest Honda dealership in the world, pays Honda, Toyota, and General Motors the same price that the smallest dealer does. So the cars cost the dealers the exact same thing.
No one has advantages.
Yeah. Where am I here? He pulled up on his computer to show me they have a 1.9% APR, annual percentage rate, for 36 months financing with the $3,000 off. So here, the incentives are definitely here. And 6 months ago, you never saw an incentive, much less a double, where you get cash and subsidized financing. So he's bringing that down because I'm walking. I reminded him that until my house closes, I don't feel comfortable doing anything against my credit. He pressed, call your bank. This guy's good. Javier is good. Call your bank and talk to them directly. Maybe they can work something out so you don't have to lose this car since you like it so much. So now he's not even, he's throwing the finance profit. He's not taking you into the box. He'll probably try later, but right now he's focusing on the sale. I said, that's a great idea. I'll talk to my family and see what they say. He said, well, before you leave, please wait. This guy's good. Please wait until I speak to my manager. I agreed. And a few minutes later, they both returned, and the manager pleaded with me. I know this car is already significantly discounted, but is there anything else I'm begging you I can do?
I didn't say begging you.
I
didn't put that in.
To entice you to buy right now. Yeah, those were my words. I like Stu.
But the spirit is all there.
Stu does a good job, but he hates it when I modify his.
No. I don't. I want people to think that I'm making stuff up.
I replied, I made that up. He didn't say I'm begging you. I replied, you're saying there's more wiggle room in this price? And he smiled and said, perhaps if we do this right now. I love it. I pretended to consider this and then said, as much as I'd love to, I really need to speak to my mortgage broker first. He said, I wouldn't talk to them. They will tell you no because they don't want to lose their commission. Now, like Javier doesn't worry about or think about his commission. So now he's battling his commission versus commission.
Now you're just a pork chop in the middle.
Right. You keep the pork chop away. I want the commission. I thanked him for the advice and went to leave just as a heavy downpour started. Javier, great touch. Javier is evil, but he's a great salesman. Javier grabbed an umbrella to walk me to the car.
No, he's not evil. He's a car business professional.
Yeah.
Which is
been around. They had the pictures up on the wall. He had his awards. He grabbed the umbrella. I mean, Javier
knows how to do it.
You're a good salesman. You're making a lot of money.
I'm going to throw one thing out there.
Yeah.
I think that might be that Javier's mother and father might have raised him right.
Yeah.
To get an umbrella and walk a lady to her car.
Yeah, pull the chair
in the pouring rain.
Yeah.
That could very well be that he was brought up to be a gentleman.
I do that, don't I, Nancy?
I always.
I do. And you should be
always.
Yeah. I get wet, too, because, I'm very tall, and to hold the umbrella over your head, it's...
You need a really big umbrella.
No balloon jokes and all this stuff.
Okay, we got to vote on this, folks.
He is a real gentleman. Ladies and gentlemen, you can vote on this mystery shopping report, and you can do so at 772-497-6530. Agent Lightning went out to John Hall Chevrolet in Daytona Beach. So we're waiting to hear from you.
All right. Well, listen, I got a grade from Jonathan in Palm Coast. And he said, I'll make this quick. Bait and Switch earns John Hall Chevrolet an automatic F. No excuses. I won't even mention the fraudulent fees or the irrelevant questions that will obtain the buyer some discounts. I am, like Earl mentioned when he's reading the report, we haven't really done a lot of advertising investigations. We're wandering in, and Agent Lightning likes to do that anyway. Even if I don't put it in the report, sometimes she just gets an idea. If she doesn't talk about the salesperson, she wants to what it is. But this was a blatant bait and switch. They have the big banner, It said 3,000 off on the Trailblazers, and she didn't get that. And what made it a little bit more unsettling or sickening was the way he kind of justified the reason this is such a good deal. The reason we're doing it, I'm like, but it's not a good deal. And they're also out of the big metropolis down here, so they're off our curve. So I'm gonna fail John Hall. I'm agreeing with Jonathan. F from
Okay.
F from me.
Let's see. First channel. Nothing coming up on the first one. But oh boy, here we go. Tom Steckel says D for deceptive. I'd give a higher grade if he was an educator.
Okay.
Brian Sidlatko. That's your average Chevy dealership, C. Joseph Kelleher, D- for deception. Tom Gilliland, D for me. Mark Smith, I give him a D. Johnny Z. Fradley, give me that Sharpie, Javier, so I can write what I'll pay. D. Also, the out-the-door price may be added up wrong.
Okay, Earl, what do you have?
C minus.
Okay, we are. I'm going to give them John Hall Chevrolet Daytona Beach an F.
Oh boy.
D for me.
Okay, too much bait and switch, just too much pressure.
Yeah.
It was. I love the umbrella, but hey,
I like Javier. Javier. I like Javier.
Javier, yeah,
He's all right.
Javier for me. Anyway,
Javier's a Sharpie.
He's a
there you
Sharpie.
go. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to wish Jonathan a happy birthday and a wonderful weekend, and a special thank you to him for all he does. Ladies and gentlemen, happy 4th of July, and don't forget to protect those little doggies out there. We'll be right back here next week, and things will be working a whole lot better. Each week gets better and better. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.